Thank you for enjoying your sweetest moments, merging timelines. I'm your host, Melly Mel's, an angelic melody Melanie, the airy fairy mystic. Woo, today's day. I don't know what's going on with my hair, so sorry. I'm fixing it in the start of our video. It's wet, so it's going to be flat. I don't have my makeup with me, so my eyes are gonna be dark. However, the messages will still hold a deeper meaning. 'Tis the season for a deeper meaning of life. Thank you to the Most High for all of the clarity and insight we'll gain through its presentation today. It's all a part of the productivity of life. And what I produce has come through me, and I share it in an open space, hoping to hold the highest light form for all beings amongst our land. So, this reading, I didn't even look at my notes, and I wrote them earlier in the week. So I'm just going to read them out loud to you as it's meant to be this way at this point. Fighting the mirror only goes to keep you caught in the middle. Number 222 came up, and the three angles of becoming also came up so that they could be reaffirmed within our land, right? So there's three angles, and we were talking about the projected, the projector, and the productivity amongst the projection, right? Tongue twister there. Three angles of becoming. I heard Sister Myra talk about this maybe a year ago or two, because it was when I started my job and I was in a live that she did. And the angles, I don't remember her angles, but the ones that I've gathered were mother, father, mother, son, father, daughter. Those are the three angles of our Rubik's Cube that is being turned as a image that works to be the soil. You know, when they said that we are dirt, we're made of dirt. My mind wants to accept that context simply served for its wording and understanding the different angles of our becoming, which I'm now seeing mother, father, mother, son, father, daughter. And these different viewpoints amongst our land is working to heal its inner child, the child of the Most High, which we all are children of the Most High. I at 32, you at whatever age you're at, whether you are a child or an adult or an elder at this point, age doesn't matter, because we are ascending into a timeless society with its harmony created amongst the land. And those who can hold the harmony will be those who, I believe, sustain the test of time. Pretending like they don't see me and it's okay as long as they see themselves, that message came out of a little bit of projected anger, right? That message came out of feeling as if I wasn't seen, but my scenes, right? Check the wordplay. Like, my scenes were a service to those who were watching its angle through mother, father, mother, son, father, daughter, to heal its inner child. So we, in the present, right, presenting the becoming, hope that you receive your gift. Again, through shared space. Intent being the message that serves the Most High. When you leave, don't leave anything, right? So don't think to leave anything, because you don't want things that were built on faulty foundations, right? So implying that you're leaving means that you have unfinished business. But for some reason, your temple, your longing is now beyond this realm. I feel that's a very, very high message, but the message serves for those of us who don't understand why everyone in this plane, on the flat plane, doesn't accept all of the expansion that is being projected amongst its land. Some will choose to be within their tunneled vision of one of the three constructs amongst the land, which those three constructs I was telling you were the sun and moon rotation, the washing machine, the son, father, son, meaning those who are very comfortable within the structured form of faith amongst the land. But those of the Most High message represent the becoming, right? The light, the truth that they share within their acceptance of themselves and what it took to become the best version of them. Realizing that what made them the best version of them was the very things that they may be ashamed of, right? May be pushing the status quo. Don't blame anyone else for not believing in you, because at this time you have to believe in yourself. That was a really hard message for me. Your actions still speak louder than your words. Children of the Most High. What I wanted to say about that is that I really want to push this I that has been something that the spiritual community has done before I even knew it existed and will continue to do, is understand that the becoming the I, the inner stance, the soul power is something that you will only continue to evolve in as long as you continue to choose to, right? That's what makes you the chosen, choosing to. Ascend to what, Mel? The highest message of the Most High. What is the highest message? The highest message is the one that serves not just the chosen, okay? It doesn't just serve the chosen. It serves the message of everyone amongst the land. The chosen just choose to accept its becoming the awareness that then decides to create some sort of light form. They don't know it all, but their light form and their volunteering, their surrender and their service to the land helps them create paths for others in their I, right? Feeling for themselves. But we all know once we feel for ourselves, that feeling will multiply on its land. And that's the first intention of the soul power. It is not to gain a following. It is not to gain higher numbers, right? Because that would work for the land that we're trying to come out of. I wanted to talk about the flat line or the flat land perspective that I've also heard about for years before I even got into spirituality. I think that flat land talks about all of the minds in the world have to start from a flat plane of the eye, that the eye holding its internal sensitivity, its internal awareness, then projecting its feeling amongst the land that works as the seas. That we didn't want to see, but it came from places we felt like we weren't good enough as a child. It's not always that someone had to tell you this, but if it was someone who was telling you this that made you feel that way, it was because they felt that way. And that's what we're accepting amongst the land, is that we're all producing some sense of vision, and our vision comes from our inner child. So what we're coming out of right now, we may not know that just yet, because we're standing in it. Okay? We're standing in this position. I don't feel to just say the collective anymore. I don't feel to just say anyone in general, but that the message is for the land. So whoever comes to the message, it's for the land. There's a sense of moving backwards that I didn't really want to get into, because I've kind of seen it projected in other messages, but I'm still going to clarify my own perspective on the image of the land moving back in time as opposed to further. That's what it is. So I was thinking that one time I was in, I think, Vision. No, it's not Visions, but shout out to you. Dan and the God. I think that's his name. I was in his live, and we were talking about, wow, it just left me. Oh, the internet. He did a video on the internet shutting down. And so the devil with the Ace of Wands, I was thinking how we obviously know that the devil doesn't always represent something very bad in tarot, but that it has an intense desire to start something over, and not over, but new, right? Start something new. In some cases over, in others new. And that works amongst the land, because we know that some things do work, some things don't work. But our constant reaffirming is the affirming that we've learned to apply to ourselves to create a better production, right? The world in reverse is the only thing that wants to be seen in this past, present, future, in the heart of the people. So I'm going to just say, in some angles, I'm going to still call groups, but I'm going to bring all the groups into the reading. One group, I think, will say that the collective is watching the world still turn in the same direction it's always gone. The program. So when we were talking about the internet shutting down, I thought, well, instead of us looking at it as if it's like going to be a horror film, or it's going to be some sort of chaos, maybe we could see that the end conclusion of the internet being defeated amongst the land is because the people have plugged themselves together through its use. Remember, we were talking about using, right? Thank you, because I was like forgetting that was a part of my message from the last time. All praise belongs to the Most High. So yeah, using. right? So we've been using each other to come into this production of what we want to feel through feeling it for ourselves. We've been that. Everything that we felt here amongst the land is because we were a part of its program. We were a part of it. Remember when we say we came into this, we picked our journey, we picked our soul, we picked our lessons. I remember the choices I took, and I know that you do. So you hold that highest light form for its construct that you dismantled in your own mind. All of that just seems to be all over the place when I'm saying it. Then I watch it and I'm like, what are you talking about? You weren't all over the place. So anyways, I think that the internet shutting down could be just the people deciding to say, hey, it served its purpose. But the first purpose and main instrument will always be the human. And that's why we humans reign over this land. 8, 9, 10. 10 of Pentacles when I said that. So we're working on becoming the queen and king of the land. And the first land is our mind. But then once we've gained its healing within inner child, we'll see the fruits of it on our land. Don't lose your mind trying to make anyone else walk the plank you created for yourself. I lost my mind a little bit in my becoming, which is okay. Because I think, is it Papa Duck who says you have to lose yourself to know that you're found? I lost my mind a little bit when I went for my parents, my pair of rentals, rented space, character, losing your mind, creating your own illness by attacking what didn't know until you knew. Where it wanted to be. I'm saying that to you because now as you know, that I have a broken foundation, a dynamic that is not the ideal for the land. But that ideal is working now for me. And I see in so many ways how it's healing me, but then hoping that the shadows of what it has been introduced to doesn't make it feel angry, and then knowing that it will. That whole process is a part of the washing machine. Okay? So hopefully you see what I'm saying, but I'm referring to my son being a part of who I am right now, knowing that the pain that I projected onto 2 other characters that I rented space from in my mind's world had suffering in them that they didn't mean to multiply, but did, even with its purest intent. And so its purest intent comes from the lack of known, and we didn't know ourselves, I, us, and we. So now I know that my son is going to feel a sense of comfort in this vibration I introduced it to, because I chose to create from a plank. I chose to create, maybe that's coming back to choosing, go back to the plank, walking the plank. So backing someone up into a space that they didn't know was there until you knew. So now I'm aware that my son is now going to be in the same position that I was. And the pain that he'll resonate with because it's just familiar is separation. I'm going to create a wider picture here in saying that what is separation? The unknown, the insecurity, the fear. A lot of times he cries and says that he feels alone. I felt alone. See the multiplication? So now I'm going to ask you and bring back this card of the cycle, that when I open the reading now, just for everyone and not just a person, a collective, the black sheep, the false light, when I brought all the people on the land in one space to create a bigger picture, global view, it was to show that we'll walk backwards, that the shutdown of the internet will be because we want to be more connected. That we know that the separation that we felt it's part of becoming, and knowing how you wanted to feel individually was going to need space. And in the community, we call it boundaries. But at some point, those boundaries also serve to create barriers. And I said I was going to talk about that again too, the barriers, the buffers that just say, I can't trust you, so I need a third party. A lot of people of the past feel like you've left them out in the cold. But the truth is you're trying to find your way of surviving in a world that you see has much to aid. And you've only been creating this individuality, not to become the alien or the above all be all, but to just say, let me feel for myself before I feel for others. I was a reader in 2018, but I never continued to read for others on rotation because I was still feeling for myself. I found a reader that I joined because they taught me how to feel for myself, because they were creating an angle amongst the tarot land that internalized the tool. It didn't focus on the people that were coming to it, but it focused on how it could use the tool to become the image of the land. Shout out to you. What's coming here is still unknown. It's going to be a dark day, but in the darkness, I see. It's a very beautiful ending in the timeline that you sit in as you come to the reading. You'll own one of these positions. You'll be the father world who feels as though people have left you out in the cold. You'll be either the person that's still working through its becoming, and some cycles you'll have to revisit because there are angles in it that you just don't understand how you feel, how your feelings are your own inner workings. You'll also see that the moon, if you are in its highest timeline of the children of the Most High message, you'll see that the darkness that we'll all share in the future is not something to fear, but the preparation on the worldview that says we stand together amongst what we don't know is out there. Wouldn't that be a beautiful sight? If everyone in the world owned the fact that we don't know what's coming, but we're okay with that because we're standing together. There's this Dear Mama song, but it's not a love song. The truth about the songs amongst the moms of the land is they're not as loving as we wanted them to be. This was because they were a defaulted feeling of how she wanted to feel. So this was seeing how she wanted to feel through her not being able to say it. And that became, in the people's view, ways they wished she loved herself more. I don't know how you're going to receive that, but I had to say it. And to expose the system, the false construct of the land, you can't use it, right? You have to expose its inner workings. That's a message I'm not quite sure that I'm ready to get into, but a loyal customer is loyal to its consumption. It finds that what it's feeding on produces good fruit. But at some point, the people on the land have to all produce the same fruit. And then we won't need the boundaries. Then we will all be able to sit in the land of unknown. So we are loyal to the principles of the land and not its survivals. So principles and not the survivors. So one thing people don't tell you about the top is how they held its form. So those who can see the top of the mountain are the ones that hold its form, okay? The only trouble about being at the top is that even the bird comes down for water. And that's just a thought and feelings for analogy, right? Let me say something about that before. I was also going to use my example of my ex-partner of 11 years that I have a son with, coming out of third-party situations, emotional investments that stem from its insecurity, mastering self-love through calming its internal sea, recognizing where you've lost yourself along the way. That's how you master your internal sea and change its production. So these people that you left out, for you, it doesn't have to be an ex-partner. It could be a family member. It could be even a coworker, depending on the relations, the relativity that you have around you. In some places, you had to change characters because the character within you was developing. I also wanted to talk about that. I laugh because the thoughts that I have in my own world, I worry I won't be able to project them in the messages. But one of them I had was how we talk about fat people, skinny people, we're really just talking about ourselves. Because it's a journey of life. And a fat person can become skinny, and a skinny person can become fat. But what we're really saying is that we're growing internally. We're expanding within our own character. We're not looking to become the judgment day, but preparing for it, practicing. And so we've practiced this in ourselves, and that allowed us to present more characters than the one that we were looking to present on Judgment Day. Work on your insecurities if you're from the father world, if you're still feeling as if you fall victim of the constructs that are constantly reflected back to us, because a lot of us will feel that way. A lot of us, we're moving from the I to the us, and we, in order to find this us, we're going to have to assume the middle position, because we're going to realize that it's only our mastery of the wax on and wax off of becoming the magician. It's the way you spin your wand. Remember, clockwise, counterclockwise. You know how that's been like a thing within spells and rituals that people do. To me, it just moves with the cycle of the sun and moon. One up, the other one down, one up, the other down. And in our own world, Harry Potter world, when we're casting our own and making it feel as if we're protecting ourselves, it's because we see the light and we see the dark, especially if you're the collective. But coming back to the world collective, because you're not an alien. No matter how much they try to project this agenda, you're not the alien. You're the people of the land, okay? And so you are going to come back from this alienation, this place where you needed to protect your boundaries, and then you're going to come back to the center. You're now the new mother. I believe the collective is the mother of the land. Right? So you are the one that's essentially giving people the right to feel. Shout out to you again. The mother world. So the mother world is just still questioning if it can have its dream. So your mother, you may be constantly reflecting back to her, you can have what you want. You can have what you want. You can have it. The more you tell her, the more you can have it yourself. Your love that you've given to her where you needed it is helping to repair that harmony amongst the land. The message was really intense for me because of how my relationship with my mom is. It works for a higher purpose. It always does. The moon. So, no one creates more magical wars than two women with the same agenda. There's the Three of Cups. I've heard on others that there's this celebration. No, that's not what I heard, but still, nonetheless, there's a celebration that's coming amongst two women. Two women are going to work together to change the world. Two women are going to work together to come out of their own suppression and false victories. Wow. Just show me one more card to clarify the unknown. Works as like the internet shutting down in some ways, really symbolizes the lack of use, because the women will feel again. The Fool card. They'll take this childlike approach, the seed of life. They are the seed of life. They've just not realized that they've been the star because of the construct of society. Women in your life may be acting unlike themselves for the first time in their life. But their new sense of freedom given to themselves is serving as a way of saying that they deserve the freedom amongst not knowing, because they haven't felt free. If we're being real, they own most of the feeling of responsibility. Either that or whatever angle. Doesn't have to be a sex, because the feminine energy isn't unique to just one sex. It is within both. So the person that felt the most for others may be looked at as if they're very irresponsible at this time, but they've now given themselves the freedom to not worry about how others feel. I think I'll leave the message at that, because that's where I left in the notes. I'm going to leave this message with one more animal spirit, because it's still going, and generally I just kind of cut off when I need to stop. So I'm going to give you as much as I can right now. I never know when I'm going to come back out with another reading, because I just do them when I feel like it. So right now, the energy shared amongst the land is the mouse in reverse. And remember, we started by saying that this is not the collective message. This is not the black sheep message, the false light message. This is for the people on the land. Okay? So right now is a time for us to become detail-oriented, small-minded, a little nitpicky, maybe a little nervous. The mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. It is often spends its days fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. Unfortunately, a mouse personality does not notice when they've gone too far. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life and try to control every detail. This can be quite a painful experience for both the mouse and those around them. When the mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. It may be time to find more purposeful project to delve into. One that's worthy of your exacting eye. So right now we are a little busy with no purpose. But I do see that if we find that meaningful project for us, whatever brings us to our own internal light, our internal workings will then reflect a sense or project a sense of organization, being and feeling resourceful, and also feeling prepared for what we don't know. That is how we end the reading. Thank you for sharing. It's time and space. Sorry about I felt a little insecure about my lack of preparation, but my internal workings are still playing effect. Thank you for sharing time and space. I love you so much. Bye.